Right behind me, we have one of the first 300 series Landcruiser Series 2 to be released in Australia. And in this episode, we're going to be doing a direct comparison from the Series 1 that was released in around 2020, now to the 2025 Series 2.
In this episode, we are going to be debunking some of the biggest myths that people think will come with the Series 2. The topics that we will cover are, does it get the AdBlue, the price hikes, are there any changes to the driveline/engine bay, what changes there are to the interior, and does it get as well done up compared to the 250 Prado? Have they also got rid of the automatic steering control for lane assist? And one of the most annoying features gets added for ANCAP safety rating.
Don't forget guys, if you are enjoying the content, flick us a subscribe. We are creating videos every 2 weeks for you guys to watch. Plus, we have discount codes at some of the biggest companies around Australia, including iTech World, Undercover Australia, Salty Captain, using the discount code Always Touring, and even our own quality merch for you guys to wear when you are out touring. Well, starting off the episode, Maddie and I were actually lucky enough to make our way down for the opening night at Toyota here in Albury-Wodonga for the celebration of their 50 years, as well as the opening of their new showroom, where they had some pretty cool old Toyota Land Cruisers sitting there on display, which was bloody awesome to see. And all of the salesmen and all the staff there was super friendly. To even extend our luck, we were even more excited that somebody had lent us their brand new VX 300 Series 2 Land Cruiser for us to do our review overnight and into tomorrow. Alright, so as you can see, Maddie and I have just picked up one of the first 300 Series 2 models to arrive in Australia. We're currently driving the VX. We're going to take it away and give you guys a full run through as to what the difference is between the 300 Series version 1 and the 300 Series version 2 that has come out, with the big questions like, have they added AdBlue, have they fixed problems like the Airbox problems, and what the new features are on the inside.
I'm so excited to ride in this bad boy because, man, it's an upgrade from the D-Max.
Absolutely.
So off the bat, a feature that I absolutely already really like is the Apple CarPlay, to be able to just play on music or connect up to Google Maps. Pretty simple.
Yeah, a bit of a piss take that they've only just in 2025 or the 2026 model added that to the features of like their top of the range bloody cars.
But hey, at least they're here.
Quickly touching on the fuel economy, so noticed straight away that we are doing 11.9 litres per 100k just driving around town. It says it's got 500 kilometers left and it's just above half. So we're probably looking at an 850 kilometer range to the fuel tank itself. So pretty good on fuel economy, particularly compared to the 200 series, the V8s, but the same fuel economy that you'd get with the Series 1. And that is on the standard for what I believe is the 32-inch wheels. So another thing that I'm noticing that I heard a lot about on the Series 1 is when on the cruise control, that the lane assist actually then jolts you back into line when you cross over the lines, if you don't indicate or something like that. I've just given it a trial then and it doesn't do that. All it does is vibrate the wheel a little bit and just lets you know that you're going past the line, but there was no jolting. I know that was a really big thing, particularly when towing, that might have been an issue. I've only ever seen that, what I've seen what other people have talking about on YouTube. So I'd love to know in the comments for anyone that has a 300 series or any of the sort of new cars that had all these lane control features, whether it does that or not. Let's quickly talk about some of the known features of the actual engine bay for the 300 itself. So we know that it's a 3.3 litre twin turbo, where the turbo kicks in at the lower rep range and then the higher rep range obviously as the revs go up. It's still producing the same amount of kilowatts, so it's still producing 227 kilowatts of power, so there's been no upgrades or tunes done to the engine itself. It's still a 10-speed auto, so no changes there. However, the new ones have a new setting called the rock crawl setting. I've just read that off Google. I haven't actually been able to find all the little different pieces and things like that on the inside. There's just so much going on. And then we've still got the center diff lock, so we rely on traction control with the center diff lock because it's got no LSD.
Now the question you've all been waiting for, does it get AdBlue?
But before we get into that, I just wanted to quickly say we have the VX model. That's all we could get our hands on. So we're doing a direct comparison for the GXL model, because as you guys know, we're getting the GXL model in a few months. So everything that we're doing is we're comparing the GXL models that were the Series 1 compared to the Series 2 and introducing the differences. And the first biggest rumor in the engine bay that I see everyone been talking about since these models came out is the airbox problems not sealing correctly. And there has been no changes to that, to the airbox. I was watching Harry from Fire to Fork basically having to replace his with one of the custom made ones because he was still getting dust inside to the under part of the seal, even with the air filter.
How good is Toyota quality? That is the clean side of the Airbox. Do we really need this new Airbox? Or is this fine? No, I think it's fine, mate. Look, engines love dust. Love dust. Look at this. Is that my mass airflow sensor? Yeah, MAF is disgusting. Yeah, it's a MAF air sensor. This is just, that is quality. Holy shit.
Saying that actually makes me a little bit nervous moving forward whether we're going to get a custom airbox because of all the warranty issues that may or may not come with that. So that's definitely something we're going to have to be keeping an eye out on.
Now the real question, does it have AdBlue?
I know, this is probably one of the biggest things that everyone's talking about because everyone knows with all the new diesels that are coming out in the market, particularly some of the big American models and some of the other companies, they're all putting AdBlue. So if anyone knows what AdBlue is, basically it injects it, I believe, into the exhaust system just to basically help with emission standards, but it's another tank that you have to worry about and fill up. It's only like every 1,000 Ks or so, but it is another thing that you have to add to it. So let's see if the 300 series, Series 2, 2025 has AdBlue. We're really drawing this out.
Does it have AdBlue? Da, 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 da.
It does not have AdBlue.
No AdBlue.
I think everybody's stoked with that one. Okay, so the next feature that the GXL model will be getting, the same as all the other models, is to do with the tailgate. And anyone that was watching TJ and Mac's episode on their 250 Prado, they found out one of the most annoying things to do with the tailgate. And I was speaking to one of the salesmen at Toyota, and he was saying basically the reason why they had done this feature that I'll get to in about 10 seconds is for the ANCAP safety rating. So this feature keeps it at that 5-star ANCAP safety rating. I'll quickly show you how annoying this is. It's like a spaceship, mate. It makes that sound. It even hit me.
Hey there.
Wait, what are you doing on the inside there?
Safety feature.
Yes, one of the most annoying things this morning, we left at like 6 a.m. and there's nothing like the neighbours hearing the sound of the beep,
Go
beep.
beep.
Apparently it's for safety, for like if a child or something is around, and you can lower the sound by the dashboard somewhere in there. We haven't had a play around with that one yet. So I'd love to know in the comments what everyone thinks of these sort of features. Like all these NCAP safety ratings that are coming in are creating all these little annoying features like the lane assist, which we'll talk about later, to see if they've rectified that or not.
Now, time to move on to the interior. It's well known that the 250 Prado had massive upgrades on the interior, similar to a Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, the upgrades to that were just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, when we went looking at the 300s before these ones came out,
I know.
we're like, are we making mistakes? Should we be going to the 250s for the luxury and the comfort and things like that?
So the question is, did this one get the same Shazam? Now the GXL gets an 8-way adjustable power seat with lumbar control as well.
Yeah, so this originally only the VXs and above came with this, so they've now moved that down to this model. Look at you, you're loving it. And then a couple other things to note is on the center console here, we have a cooler box now. So this now comes with the GXL model, which originally didn't come with it. It was just a normal piece in the center. You'll see here, this is the new 12-inch on the VX screen. The GXL model will be going from whatever it was before up to the 7-inch one. So it's going to be bigger, but not as big as the one that you're visualizing here. And then the VXs, just because we got it here, is a full digital screen, and I believe the GXLs don't go full digital, but they do have a digital partial screen, which I'll see if I can get some footage of as well. And then talking about the air conditioning upgrade, so as you can see in the back here, we now have some air conditioning units. So basically what's happened here, it's been upgraded from the dual zone to a 4-zone automatic climate control, allowing sort of like an individual temperature setting for the people that are sitting in the back, the driver,
and
then
the passenger princess.
Which makes it very convenient. We were using it this morning and we're like, oh, like we had different temperatures straight away in the front. But if you have kids or anything, which we're going to be having, and why we're getting this car, we can keep them warmer or colder in the back as well.
Drivers matter as well.
Yeah, just a little luxury there.
Another feature that's changed in the GXL model is the fabric of the seats. It used to be the other fabric before, and then now it's changed to a nice smooth suede in a little grey colour.
Yeah, so everyone knows like the old fabric one was just like a crappy fabric, just like you'd get on any other car.
So now you got a bit of an upgrade.
I don't know what suede is. What does suede mean?
It's kind of like a soft, felty kind of material is the best way I like to describe it.
And then the final interior change has to do with the back seats here. I'm not quite sure what this means, but the second row seating has like an enhanced 40-20-40 split folding second row seats with a center armrest improving passenger comfort and cargo flexibility. That was literally just me reading off what they said on the Toyota website. I don't know what that means, but...
That's your armrest.
Oh, there you go.
And then you got little cup holders as well for the babies.
And you get that in the GXL. So that might have come in the VX and upwards, but that's now come down to the GXL. Biggest takeaway, there's a lot of stuff going from the bigger upgraded models down to the GXLs. The GXs are getting cut out a fair few things as well. And a final couple other things that they've added to the infotainment system here, just to basically bring it up to the more modernized standard. Not really like upgrades that everyone would be thinking about. Like you go to IKEA and get these upgrades. Basically, they've now introduced Apple Play and Google Play, or whatever the Samsung version is. They removed the DVD and CD player that were down here, and they've put like a HDMI and USB-C ports. And then they've added like a Toyota Connect thing to the computer system here, so you can actually track your car via the app. So if it ever gets stolen, you can track your car. I know there's a lot of things happening up in like Queensland and things like that with a lot of Landcruisers and stuff get stolen. Like my mate, Mitch from the second quarter had his 200 series stolen a couple of years ago, and if it wasn't for his air tag in there, he wouldn't have been able to recover his 200 series. So we now have that, which is basically just like a bit of safety when you're spending so much money on these vehicles, to be able to just simply track where they are at any time.
Now let's talk about the final big controversial next safety feature. So the safety feature they had was lane control, which would actually move the car in between the lanes or a certain distance from a car. Now that actually became dangerous if you've got a trailer or a caravan because it causes the sway at the back.
Yeah, so if you went outside of those lines, the car would try and correct the vehicle, which corrects the caravan and create like a really quick jolt.
Which is
very dangerous.
Incredibly dangerous. So they've opted out and instead they've got a vibration on the steering wheel instead.
Yeah.
Just a little humming vibration with the beep as well, so that you know you're out of the lane.
It doesn't physically move the car. We did a little trial of that last night, didn't we?
Yeah, I know, that was one of the first things we checked. We're like, right, does it have that annoying lane feature?
So let's quickly finish off this episode with talking about the price hikes that have come with this, because there's been a lot of changes to the infotainment system.
And the interior and the seating.
Yeah,
and also those safety features.
Exactly. So we've been told that from the GXL model, we're paying an extra $1,500 to $2,000, not including the on-road costs, but just the overall costs of the vehicle. So that went from $108,000 to $110,000, and then all the other models have gone up about a similar amount as well. I think the VXs and the GR Sports have only gone up about $500 to $800. Which to me is really not that big of a price hike, because when you're going from a Series 1 to a Series 2 sort of in any car model and you're getting these infotainment upgrades and a couple of the safety features, if you were to do those aftermarket anyways, you're probably paying $5 or $6 grand to get those done anyways.
We're going to end the episode there, but we want to know what your guys' thoughts are. Is it worth upgrading for that extra bit of money for the Series 2 or sticking to the older version?
We'll see you next episode.